A Quiet Place. So, A Quiet Place was directed and co-written by John Krasinski. Yeah, that's right. That guy from The Office. What the hell? Who'da thunk? Anyway, so this is co-written and directed by John Krasinski, and this is about a family living in our post-apocalyptic world in which there are like weird alien creatures that will kill you the minute they hear sound. And this is about a family's struggle to survive in this environment where you cannot make a single sound. Now, from the start, this movie is intense. It opens, it's very quiet. If you're not a fan of subtitles, this isn't a movie for you. This is basically a foreign film in the sense that like 90% of this movie is in subtitles. And this movie from the start is just intense. You see the family going to a grocery store or some kind of store, and then they're heading back home, and the smallest child makes the noise with a toy, and we immediately see how intense and how real this is, and the fact that no one is safe. If even the smallest sound is made, someone could die. And right from the start, you're just glued to the screen. I remember seeing this in theaters, and this was a movie that people were eating their popcorn and candy and drinking their sodas right as the movie started, but after that first scene, it stopped. Nobody was eating, no one was drinking. Everyone took everything home with them that day because you didn't want to make a single sound. You felt like you were living in this movie and you are not able to make a sound. Now, the acting in this movie is really great. The daughter in this movie, the actress in real life is actually deaf, and I believe they use actual real ASL. I actually learned from a friend who has a deaf sister and knows ASL that in movies it's not always accurate ASL. And I think this movie actually did use ASL because the actress in the movie is actually deaf and they wanted it to be accurate. So that's actually kind of cool. I love that this movie didn't show the creatures right away. It shows hints of it, it shows parts of it, it'll block it out in certain scenes, and then by the end is when we get more of our full flunge view of the monster, the alien monster, and even then it's still kind of hidden. It's something that we still don't know about. And I love that we don't know where these aliens came from, how this started. It looks like from the trailers of Quiet Place Part 2 that we might be finding that out. I'm not sure. I am excited to see it tonight though. I have my tickets already bought. And technically this movie is amazing. The sound editing, the sound mixing, the mixture of score when there are the loud scenes. There's not much of a score otherwise, essentially. It's just quiet, which makes the viewer, as us as audience members, we are quiet because we don't want creatures to come and kill us, even though we are watching a movie, which I think is something that not all movies can do. The fact that it can glue us to the TV and make sure that we are not doing what the characters are doing in real life is something special. There are very little things in this movie for me to dislike. There's a couple nitpick things, a couple horror tropes with, a nail in the stairs, of course, and, a couple scenes that are definitely just horror moments that we come to expect in a movie, in a horror movie, which I wouldn't even necessarily call this a horror movie. It's more of a thriller with some horror elements added to it. And some of those horror elements, I think, are just a little cliche. It's not enough for me to dislike this movie in any way. It's just a couple little nitpicks that I see throughout. Along with, logically, there's some things that we don't know about. If a person were to fart loud, are they dead? If a person were to burp, are they dead? How does flushing the toilet work? Do they just use an outhouse? When the crap hits the water, the ground, does it make a sound? Are you dead? Those are the kind of things I think of people crapping. I'm messed up. The big thing I would say that takes a point off for me in this movie is the ending. This movie was produced by Michael Bay, a director that is known for movies such as Transformers and Pain and Gain and Armageddon, movies in which there's big explosions going on all the time, big over-the-top action sequences. And the very last scene of this movie just feels like Michael Bay came in and said, hey, I suggest doing this one thing. And John Krasinski was like, well, you helped pay for it, so yeah, we're going to do that one last thing that you say to do. And it just felt it didn't work with the rest of the movie, in my opinion. It just kind of ends on this big, dumb, over-the-top moment, essentially. It doesn't ruin the movie by the end of the day. It's something I didn't realize about this movie until watching it for probably the 50th time. It's the fact that this movie essentially takes place in one day's time. The opening sequence takes place at an earlier time, and then it kind of shifts forward. I think the first day is 89, and then it moves to, like, day 200 or whatever it is. And it's essentially one day. It starts off in the morning, afternoon, and then we get night, and then by the ending of this movie, it's more going into that next day, early morning, which is something that I found really cool, that you don't even notice that it's one day and how much time has gone by. I think that's something that's really cool in movies that we don't see a lot of, that I wish kind of more movies would do. Just have it set in one spot. It's essentially set in one spot, this movie, at this farmhouse where they're living, and that's about it. And it's just them going about their day and what events can happen in one day. And I really like that. In the end, I really do love this movie. Not the biggest fan of the ending, but the pacing of the movie, the technical aspects of this movie, the acting of this movie, everything about it is just great. In the end, I'm going to give this movie a 9 out of 10. So, as I said before, I do have my tickets to go see A Quiet Place Part 2 tonight. Might even be seeing Cruella tonight, not sure yet. We'll hopefully have reviews up sometime this weekend for both. So yeah, tell me what you'd like to see in the comments below for reviews. I'll get on reviewing them. Until then, I'll see you next time.